Good evening. Good evening, everybody, to House Flies Live. Apologies, we're a bit late. A few technical difficulties above in Rascals in Dublin. We thought that we had problems last week with broadband in Cork, but I think it's more laptop problems. This is the latest episode, and instead of once again, apologies for being a bit late. We're 15. We said we would round it off at the 15 minutes late. This is episode 3, Rascals Brewing Company. Brought to you by myself, David, owner and proprietor and resident bullshitter barman from the beer house, and my co-host, Sean. Good evening, Sean.
Hey, Dave, how things going?
Not bad, no, not bad. Our hearts are beating properly again, I suppose, because we've got Cahill in the wings, thankfully, at last, after about 10 minutes of stress. But we got there.
Yeah, he was being a little rascal.
Yeah. Living up to his name. All right, so I've just basically told everyone what's the episode about, so you can want to fill them in on what's happening tonight, Sean.
Yeah, so first up, we're going to have Carl, the head brewer and owner of Rascals. We've got 3 featured beers, 2 brand new beers, Bruce and Betty. They're featuring New Zealand hops. And then next up is one of their flags, Happy Days. So, yeah, we look forward to some information, especially on the New Zealand beers. I love New Zealand hops, so I look forward to hearing from Carl on that. And then we've got, meet our industry person, Kate Clancy from the Franciscan Well. So she'll be up next. And then at the end, the Beer Badger, also known as Declan Buckley. So he'll be coming on at the end as our regular stool. So yeah, Dave, you did say in the beginning that it was either going to be awesome or it was going to be a shit show. So we've gone 1 for 1.
We said a train wreck. So I think this is the kind of okay. So we've had a good first one with blacks on the first one. I think that was the awesome one. The second one, yeah, it was a bit of a train wreck. The third one so far, we had a little bit of a bump, But let's hope that everything touch wood goes well. All right. What have you been drinking this week, Sean? Anything interesting?
Yeah, I think I've had a couple good ones. My favorite was possibly the Dragon's Fuel or Dinosaur Eggs from Tool.
Great name.
I really enjoyed that. There was a great nutty barrel aged from Dot. And then, I love my big high volume IPAs and heavy stouts, but I had one from Trouble. It was their speaker box.
Yes.
Yeah, but that I'm not normally one that's can really taste it, but it definitely had an alcohol hit in there. But I mean, what do you know? I mean, at 9%, you can't really argue. So I really enjoyed it. And yourself, what's your favorite beers of the week?
Do you know what? I've been kind of taking it easy all week. I suppose I'm out doing deliveries most days, and I've got the kids as well to be looking after in the morning. So I suppose the tail end of last week, I did have the new O'Hara's Nitro in a can for the first time. I quite enjoyed it.
Yes.
Light 4.3, 4.4. I mean, the first Nitro stout from a craft brewery to take on the big boys. Good settle. I liked it. And I've literally just had a Larkin's Curious Pilsner as well before we came on, just to settle the nerves. Good clean crisp Pilsner. Good clean crisp Pilsner. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you did a blind test of me and told me it was a German Pilsner, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, to be honest.
I actually thought I'd warm up with a White Yankee from Rascals.
Support favorite from theirs. All right. Yeah. Quickly, I suppose, before we start getting into the beer, I mean, I know you love your sport, and we always like to touch on sport. Big weekend in rugby, Six Nations weekend again.
Oh yeah, I was listening to an episode with Finn Russell and Simon Zebo, and they were riling each other up. But apparently, the Calcutta Cup was invented just so Scotland could win something. So the shots were being fired.
It's the oldest fixture, I think, that fixture, and that's the oldest trophy, I think.
It was sweet.
Do you know what? I was actually, as you were saying, you were watching Zebo and Finn Russell winding each other up. I was watching Brian O'Driscoll on Off the Ball this evening, and they're talking up Scotland big time. And I think if the Irish players are watching it, it's going to rev them up big time.
My money would be on Scotland, unfortunately. They've been building. I thought they were going to push Ireland last year, and they didn't. But this time, I think it's going to be a lot closer. But I
I
do
think,
like the Ireland team.
I
I think with what he's gone with Todd Byrne at blindside, we've got a big pack. I think he's trying to match them up front. Henderson and James Ryan in the locks, along with Byrne and CJ. That gives you 4 big line-out options. And I think with Scotland and their foreign legion of South Africans and New Zealanders, I think it's going to be close.
It's going to be very tight. I think 10 points max. It could be even tighter. I suppose we can't let the week pass without asking what the hell is going on at Liverpool. 6 home losses in a row. Klopp is probably on his one leg on the plane to the German job, is he?
No, he's committed to it. I think he wants to send us off in a good way. He's not going to leave early. But yeah, we're in terminal freefall. We were just in freefall, but now we're in terminal freefall. But even though we look like we're performing in the Champions League, but I don't think I think it's not a coincidence that you've got 2 centre backs playing centre back, and then you win. I think when you had Henderson before he was injured and Fabinho trying to play at the back, it just messed up the whole flow of the team. Thiago is out of form. Everyone else, I think it was just a knock-on effect. But yeah, I suppose it wouldn't be good without me gloating about my ABU, anyone but United.
Well, I suppose, every time I see Liverpool fail and I kind of have a little cheeky smile, then Man United concede a goal in the 93rd minute or something, and they go out and it's, as my father said the other day to me, following Man United is like God Almighty. It's like ordering your favorite food, and every second time it comes in your takeaway. It's good, and the next time it's bad. So, anything else happening in the world of sport outside of Man United, Liverpool, and Six Nations this weekend, or anything else you want to touch on?
I think. Look, the British Lions tour, for all looks and money, that looks like it's going to be in England and Ireland. I don't know if Dublin's going to be able to host the test because we're not going to have all the vaccines done. The UK is going to be vaccinated by then. But I think it's going to be awesome. As long as the tour goes ahead, I'm going to be happy. I think let's bring
Cahill in. I know he likes his rugby. Should they've released a couple of beers? They've released a couple of beers up there, rugby team and rugby related. Let's get the man on. He's been waiting long enough, and let's get a prediction on the Ireland-Scotland match as well before we kick off on the happy days. Hopefully will be a happy day on Sunday for everybody. Cahill, good evening.
Hi guys. What's the crack?
Welcome
to House Plays Live. Thanks for being brave enough for joining us. I mean, we after 2 episodes, we already have a bit of a reputation for tearing the Brewers apart. So, so don't worry, we'll take it easy on you.
Yeah, but I do think that Ireland are going to win anyway this weekend.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I know Scotland are definitely on the up. I agree, and it won't be an easy game, but I don't know. I feel like we haven't hit the ground running yet, to be honest. I mean, we almost beat Wales with 14 men. France are obviously awesome, and Italy. Look, it's hard to see what we do against Italy. It's a given that you beat them, and things kind of peter off towards the end very often against them. So, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Ireland are very predictable. They're going to do the same thing they always do," and Scotland are going to bring something different. So it'll be a great game to watch.
Yeah, I was actually really disappointed in that Italy Ireland game. I thought the rugby was horrible. It was just not good. But I mean, I suppose it's hard to get up for that sort of opposition. I mean, Italy are taking 50 from anyone who faces them.
Yeah.
But I think Andy Farrell might be finding a little bit of a groove because I do like the look of the team. Whether that's with Peter O'Mahony out, and he was always, a banker, but without him, that back row looks a little bit more settled. And Will O'Connor's had a really good game. But I got a question for you. You're kind of the forgotten man of Cork, apparently.
Yeah.
And where's your allegiance lie? Is it red or blue?
Munster, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Grew up in Cork and in the College of Cork, so I'm Munster. I do enjoy watching all the provinces, but yeah, red is good.
Man.
Yeah. Just wondering if you
You
might
have
have
to
been
back.
twisted.
County and province.
We were gonna, I suppose we better wrap up the rugby talk. I suppose a lot of people are here probably to talk about Rascals Brewing Company and talk about beer.
Yeah.
You know, rather than us getting we could talk. As we say every week, we could probably talk about beer or rugby and sport for an hour. You know, so I suppose we get, because we're running a bit late. I suppose we might as well get into the happy days, and then we can start asking a few questions around it. Then all the rest. That's your flagship beer, yeah? Happy days, yeah.
Yeah, well, like this and our Yankee White are the two best sellers, and they're both on a par pretty much when it comes to sales in can. Oh, you have one of each there, brilliant. But we've more, when the pubs are open, we've more taps with Happy Days, and it's a better seller in our own restaurant tap room as well. But in can, they're on a level par. But look, it's, as you said, like, it's our flagship beer, 4.1% easy drinking pale ale, a nice hoppy profile, not too bitter, a little bit of fruit, easy drinking. Which is
lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely nose in it.
Yeah, like when you get it good and fresh like that, it's you can't beat it really. So.
Just speaking about you brought it up at your restaurant. I was up there after the first lockdown last year.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. Great setup, but also just the level of service. Thankfully, we didn't get kicked out after 90 minutes, so that was good. But
say nothing.
Shouldn't have said that.
But like, as you know, it's a big space there. Like, we've loads of room, and we're like, normally you could seat 100 people, and reduce down to 50 then when you were there probably. There's plenty of space. And we mix of kind of beer hall tables and 2 top tables or 4 top tables. So we've since put on an external area as well. We've built we got an all-weather kind of marquee tent put outside, one of those stretch tents.
Fantastic.
Or if and when we're going to have outdoor dining. So we can see 20 or so outside there. That's the plan. Fingers crossed.
Sean, you're asking all my questions. I might as well just throw this away at this stage. Like, you know?
Actually,
you're going to have your own questions, like, you know. Yeah.
But you never went to the restaurant, Dave. I did. I made all the effort to go up there.
All right. Okay, fair enough. All right. I suppose look. We've introduced Happy Days. I mean, Cathal, do you want to introduce yourself? I suppose a little bit more people that don't know you.
Sure.
That are watching for the first time. Introduce Rascals Brewing Company, where you're from, what you're about, rather than us assuming that everybody knows who Rascals are.
Okay. No worries.
Briefly.
So Rascals are on since 2014. So we did our first brew with Brewery in Meath, and we brewed a ginger porter, and we launched with that. And around the same time, we purchased Galway Bay's old brewery, which is a 10 hectolitre brew house, and we brought that over to Dublin, set up in Green Oak Industrial Estate, which is on the outskirts of the city. And that's where we started. Started off brewing there with a couple of fermenters, and then added on 1 or 2 more every couple of months or every 6 months or so. And I suppose Dublin was our main market because we were draft only for the first while. Obviously, we'd send down kegs to the likes of Beer House and Franciscan Well or whatever, anyone in Cork that would buy it. So we were 4 years in that unit, and did quite well. And we got some investment in. Some guys approached us, and they also had the property that we're in at the moment. So they own that building. So that was like a major boost for us. And like any brewer's dream was to have your own brewery and tap room. So it is amazing to have that facility there now at the moment. So we're there since 2018. So we tripled our brew capacity. So we have a 30 hectoliter brew house, and we have 8 fermenters that are 30 hec, and we have 3 60 hec fermenters.
Impressive. Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive. Yeah.
Your beers are everywhere.
Say again?
Your beers are everywhere. I mean, you can get them Bradley is actually down in Cork. They've got a big window display up for you.
Yeah, that went up today. That went up today. Actually, our sales guy went down. But yeah, like once we start going to cans and getting the distribution into cans is great. Like, because it is, like you said, it's most super values will have it, but all the independents will have it, and all the independents will have our guest special beers as well.
Yeah, I know the local centre up the road here, they have it. I mean, and that's just, it's convenient. You can always pick it up, and I think you have more scope than a lot of other craft breweries in Ireland.
That's good to hear, because it is hard, like, to get it out there in places. There's a lot of work that goes into that. So it's great to hear, because sometimes you don't know. We'd send it off to our distributor, and then they send it down to wherever. And we often get messages like, "Is your beer available in Waterford or Cork, whatever?" Like, and you kind of have to think about it and come back to them, ask the distributor where it is. But yeah, that's good to hear.
Come here to me. On touching on the distribution and stuff. How was the move to Grand Cru, which happened recently? Is that working out well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really good. They're great. They're a great bunch of people. They love their beer. They're into their beer. And they have cold storage, which is critical for us. You know, our beers are unfiltered and unpasteurized. We have a big cold room. And we know that when we ship the beer to them, it's literally out of the cold room for about half an hour. Was between our warehouse and theirs. And then, you know, they take care of the beers, you know, and they've been in the game a long time. They're dealing with some big breweries from the States and the UK as well. So their reputation is there. Like, I
always find that they're like they mirror what I'm doing, and they mirror what a lot of craft breweries are doing in the country. With guys like yourselves, and like you're not in this. Well, okay, you're in it to make money. I'm in it to make money, but ultimately you're in it because you love beer, and they're selling beer to make money, but I think if they had to choose between money and love what they're doing, you can just see even the reps coming in. They love selling good beer. Yeah. And they love getting that tap.
Selling good beer to people who want to sell good beer as well, like yourselves, or you know. Definitely, you know, like it's been a great move for us, for sure. I suspect that Cork is a bit of a kind of a personal project for you, almost, that, you know, because of your Cork heritage, that you're quite eager to kind of eventually, we'll say, conquer Cork when it comes to getting Rascals a bit more prominence down here. Conquer, I don't know, is that the right word to use?
Not conquer it, but
Cork's been a tough nut to crack, to be honest. I guess there are so many well-established breweries down there. You know, from the Franciscan Well, 8 Degrees, there's so many around there, and people from Cork are loyal to their own beers, like, you know, which is good. You know, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it is nice to see our beer down there, for sure.
I think when the bars get open again, look, we'll sell myself and Sean around the place. We're cheap, you know, a couple of cans, and we'll
I'll sell you 2 t-shirts.
Oh, that's a given. Everyone that comes on, we get 2 t-shirts, you know.
Yeah. But then on that, so I really love coming down there. It does feel like coming home when we hang out in Cork, and, you know, going to the old haunts where even if they are craft beer bars or not, some of the old places we used to go to when I was in college, whatever, it's fun, you know.
What's your favourite pub in Cork?
Besides Beer House?
Besides Beer House.
Careful now, tread carefully.
Jeez, that's a tough one. I used to always like the Bar when I was in college. I just like a small kind of cozy spot. Where else we used to go to? The Wash, being a kind of a country guy.
You're a young man.
I don't remember a few nights at the Wash, I can tell you that much.
But yeah, like most of my drinking in Cork would have been when I was in college, so very different scene. Although I did venture north of the river a few times.
The north side. What's that? The top of the hill.
Cheap pints up there.
We need to get Eddie McGarry on to tell us about those pubs on the north side.
Next thing I want to ask you about Rascals. We're just touching on Rascals. I mean, the name itself, it invokes a kind of a sense of cheeky fun and kind of like a love child, love wild child. Wasn't there a show in the 80s or the 90s, kind of a children's show? Cheeky Rascals or Little Rascals?
Oh, yeah.
Little Rascals.
Yeah. People often call us that. And
how did you come up with the name?
We wanted something fun, and myself and him were literally sitting in a pub one night to come up with trying to bounce some names off each other, and what about this, what about that, and Rascals came to us and said, it represents us as people, it represents what we want to do with beers, do something different, put a twist on things with different beers. I mean, when we launched, we had ginger porter, we had a Belgian wit, and we had a hoppy red ale, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas before, a lot of the breweries would have had the holy trinity of beers, which would have been a pale, a red, and a stout. Even from the beginning, we were like, okay, let's do something different.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kind of touching on the brewery name again, like, you know, it does kind of evoke a sense of kind of a fun and kind of a brewery that's kind of like, even your color schemes in your cans, and, you know, your colors in your tap room. I haven't been there, but Sean's been there. But it's just, they're like bright, vibrant colors. They're not like you're not going for grades. You know, you're kind of you're kind of standing out, but your beers are speaking for themselves as well. Like what I wanted to ask was like, obviously you said you launched with a ginger porter, and you've had a strawberry milkshake, you've had an old fashioned big smoke. I mean, just to name a few, like really interesting and we'll say off the wall. We could call them off the wall beers, unusual recipes. Who's the creative head in the brewery that kind of comes up with those strange ideas?
There's a few of us there, to be honest. Like myself and Emma will always try and come up with ideas, and we're always inspired by food, and even just when we're able to traveling on holidays, we go to Belgium or Germany or wherever, and you taste a beer and you try and bring that flavor back home, especially if it's something weird and unusual. But there's a team of us there. Like we'd sit down, like we actually brewed a strawberry milkshake again yesterday.
I saw that. Yeah,
that's a favorite of people's. But who comes up with ideas? Like, myself and Emma would kind of drive the ideas. But there's some other brewers there as well. They'd come to us, and we have a pilot kit there as well, 300 litre kit that we can try things on. And someone go, look, I want to try, I don't know, like a lime lager. We've one of them in the pilot kit at the moment, so we let Josh, our brewer, off with that. So that's sitting in the pilot kit now, and if it's good, we'll upscale it in and put it into can.
The pilot kit must be very, very handy for that kind of stuff. Is it?
It is brilliant. Yeah, even in the old place, we always had, like, my old homebrew kit was our pilot kit, but you were kind of mixing stuff in buckets and stuff like that, and you kind of get a sense of what's going to happen with the beer, but it wasn't perfect. Whereas now we have a little 200 litre, 300 litre fermenter and brew house.
What I was trying to touch on was like the strawberry. I'm not slagging. I'm not used to it. I poured it in the beer house. It's a strawberry milkshake IPA. But what I'm trying to get at is what crazy person wakes up in the morning and goes, let's brew a strawberry milkshake IPA? Have they been to McDonald's the previous night or something? Or
maybe that's it. There's breweries like Omnipolo would be a big inspiration for us for those kind of beers. That's all they do is crazy milkshake beers with loads of lactose and all the rest of it. So that's where the inspiration for that beer came from.
Yeah.
What is like your, like when you go about like creating a new beer and that, like what is it like, do you just think of a concept and like, right, I want to create like a chocolate stout? Like, I mean, you obviously want everyone to drink your beer, but I mean, are you trying to be different, or are you just trying to create like a beer that will be accessible for the masses?
It's a balance between the two. Like you can't go and make, a crazy, it's, for example, an triple imperial stout with loads of chilies in it and chocolate, because it might taste okay for one tiny sip, but if you can't finish a can, there's no point.
Yeah.
So it's a balance to make it very drinkable. I think all beer should be drinkable, whether it's 4% or 9%. You should still be able to sit and enjoy it and drink it.
100%.
And that's the challenge. Like it's easy to make alcohol, but it's not easy to make it taste good. You can make hooch.
For sure. John O'Halloran had there as a question, and it was just, have you got any barrel aged beers coming up?
There's nothing in the pipeline at the moment, but we are hoping to get our hands on some barrels and do the big smoke again. But we don't have any yet. But the plan is
anything with smoke, I'm all over. Like, I mean, I've said this to Sean a few times. If you told me your arm was a bit smoky, I'd probably have a nibble off it. Like, smoked cheese, smoked chicken, smoked duck, smoked beer, anything with smoke in it. I'm a sucker. Like,
I'm sure we'll come back to Carhill's smoking ability on his barbecue. I saw something a couple weeks back. I did.
My lockdown hobby is.
But we'll touch on that when we get down to New Zealand, because that's obviously a pastime. But if John also wants to know how many pizzas you eat a week.
At least one.
At least one?
Every Thursday or Friday. If it's been a long week at work, it could be 2 or 3, but one on a Friday is a little treat.
Jeez. I think I'd be going every day.
It's hard to stay away from that stuff, isn't it? Jeez, especially if it's on your doorstep,
There's a good chef there as well, to be fair, and they're very tasty. And we do weekly specials when it comes to the pizzas as well, or monthly specials. So that gets changed up. So we have our core range of specials, of pizzas, and then every month there's a new one.
There's something about craft beer and pizza that goes hand in hand. It's the same down in Cork, isn't it? It's just like the Franciscan Well, Rising Suns, everywhere you go, it seems to be pizza and craft beer,
Pizza and beer. It's pizza and beer. It's perfect. It's like that. You could live off that. I mean, it's perfect. Just touching on other beers. Have you been drinking anything recently this week besides your own stuff?
Even this evening I had a black lager from Third Barrel. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it had a Pacifica hop in it, which was interesting. We have some guest beers in our off license at the moment, and I picked up a bottle of Tools black malts and black salts. It's like a black IPA, black double IPA with coffee. I haven't cracked it open yet. I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, I've also hopefully I've got a New England from those guys, which I'm going to try later as well.
Yeah, it's funny.
Have you got anything big in the pipeline coming out?
Big as in ABV wise, or
like or a big new beer?
Well, we're actually, speaking of hopefully, we're hoping to do a collaboration with them this summer. Their guys are in the brewery today. We're having a chat, trying to come up with a recipe, and so I'd have to go on the pilot kit first, and then we'll upscale it if it works out. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Cutting you off.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for cutting you off there. What were you saying?
No, not at all. Nothing too important. Drive on. I'm only watching. I'm taking it easy this week. You can be the Ron Burgundy this week. I'll just be the side act this week.
So you said besides the one with Hopefully, because I've had a couple of decent beers from them. What do you know what you're planning, or you still need to brainstorm about that one?
For that beer,
yeah,
like a fruit Thailand inspired fruit beer. I won't go any more than that.
Okay, you've already got me.
Those guys, like we work with fruit, and they work with fruit quite a bit. So it's a good combo. And I've known the guys, like they're based here in Dublin for a while. I met them first at the Bernard Shaw at a social hops event, and they had a kumquat IPA, and I thought it was savage. And we did a collaboration with them a few years back, and we made that kumquat IPA again. So it's now that was in their brewery, so the return trek is here now, I would assume.
Awesome.
Yeah. How we all doing on beers there? Are we ready to? Are we still sipping away? Or?
Yeah, we can move on to Betty if you want.
I don't know. How are you doing, Sean? You seem to be sipping away.
Yeah, I'm ready. Are we going for Bruce, or is it ladies first?
Like anybody who's not finished up the Happy Days, you don't have to down it now. Drink it. Just get another glass.
Yeah.
or drink out of the can. You know.
It is. It was International Women's Week this week. So yeah, it's fitting that we got Betty on, and we've also got Kate, who's a lot better looking than the three of us. So you guys won't have to stare at us or as ugly mugs for the entire hour.
Yeah. Oh, what did you, Sean? Did you find out your Rascals beer name? What was mine again? Floppy something. Floppy Fox Sour. Floppy Fox Sour.
Mine was Giddy Daddy Sour.
Sour as well. Yeah.
Which is ironic because I still don't really like sours, but I'm getting there.
We did think of we did toy with the idea of changing your screen names for the night just to have a bit of crack with them.
I think my name was something like Floppy Discharge or something. So, very, very insulting.
Floppy Discharge. Oh god.
Yeah. Floppy Discharge IPA or whatever.
Okay, has everybody got their Betty in their glasses? We leave Cahill.
Yeah. So
introduce Betty.
So a New Zealand Helles style lager. So our jailbreak is our Helles lager, or Haus lager we call it. So that's the base recipe for this beer. But the New Zealand hops are called Betty. It's a blend of hops. They won't actually tell you what the hops are, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Pacific in there, maybe a bit of Nelson. But it's quite a subtle hop, perfect for a dry hop lager like this. I get a lot of kind of gooseberry and a little bit of grape and a little bit of lime. On the nose, it doesn't bang. It's not a bang of hops like you would get from an IPA. But like I think as you sip it and you drink it, it's really clean. And then the finish, you get your hint of lime and a hint of gooseberry. I'm quite happy with it. Very easy drinking. So it's the pink can. You've got the Bruce there, my friend.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Amateur. You should
fix it up.
Come here. Sean, if you're not dropping the cans, you're picking the wrong ones up.
You poured the right one into the glass, though, did you?
Into my specially curated Rascals glass.
Good man, excellent. Did you steal that from the tap room? Did you?
No, I did not steal that from you. I stole it from the beer house.
Yeah, we're already a little bit classier this week. We Sean on from White Street last week, and he was just drinking straight from the tins all the whole way through the show. He was like, "This is how we drink." It was like drinking in the field, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that. Eddie. I like it, man. It's you can definitely tell it's fresh off the shelves. Like, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I can feel the Hellas lager backbone definitely, and the burst of hops is lovely on it. Like, you know, and you're right.
Yeah.
You're dead right. You're dead right. I don't really get a lot in the nose. Maybe when it opens up in the glass for a little while it might, but
I think it will warm up. Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm definitely getting the kind of the dry hops definitely on the nose now. But yeah, beautiful.
So it was like just Betty in the whirlpool and Betty in the dry hop. But yeah, it was such a lovely subtle hop, you know, and a nice clean beer is exactly the place to put that hop, you know.
That's where you kind of fell in love with craft beer yourself and Emma, don't you?
Actually, yeah. We met myself and Emma. I was over for 5 years, and it's where we met. And like a lot of our dates and stuff at the beginning, we were going to craft beer bars and little microbreweries and stuff. So we've always been wanting to do some New Zealand beers, some New Zealand hops, but they're hard enough to get them. And sometimes the quality of the New Zealand hops we were getting in the past weren't brilliant. But these are phenomenal, these hops. And when you go on to Bruce there in a minute, you'll see it just pops out of the glass of flavors.
But
it does remind us of when we were over there. Like when they were first going to Irish bars drinking crap Guinness that's been made at the other side of the world, you know, why would you bother? So I started venturing into the local pubs and the local craft beers, and there's so many just little breweries around Wellington where we used to live, and all over the country really. The scene there. This was back in 2007. So the scene there was probably like the scene is here now. But, yeah.
Well, I was there in 2011 for the Rugby World Cup.
All right, yeah.
Oh, the scene was cracking there. Wellington's like a hotspot. Oh,
yeah, and like I was there. I was still there. The World Cup was amazing actually. When I was there, it was fucking, like, to get to go to those games. What games did you go to? We're talking rugby again, are we?
Yeah, we're back to the rugby. Yeah, didn't take us long. Well, Wellington. You can't talk about New Zealand and not talk about rugby. Yeah, I was there for the 2011 World Cup. I saw every game except every game Ireland were involved in, plus an extra quarterfinal. I think we missed the first game. We saw the Australia game, the Russia game. Who else did we play after that? We played Italy, Wales in the quarterfinal. No, we didn't play USA. Italy, Russia. It was Australia, Russia, Italy, and then we had Wales in the quarterfinal. And then we had a second quarterfinal as well. But it was amazing. We were driving around in a camper van I've seen more New Zealand than I've seen of Ireland. Amazing.
Yeah. When was that earthquake that happened in Christchurch? That was around about 2007, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were in. No, it was about 2010. 2010. Yeah, there was still aftereffects. Yeah.
They had two, didn't they? They had one in 2010 and one probably was after the World Cup. I was home anyway.
Yeah.
But I actually felt that one in Wellington, which is whatever 500 kilometers away. Like I was sleeping. I thought someone with washing machines on spin cycle or something started rattling. And like
there's a great rugby show called The Breakdown, and you can find that just on YouTube weekly. But they had it live in Christchurch this week. But the city looks absolutely awesome. Obviously, the Crusaders have been great year in, year out. Ronan Guyer was down there. She said Scott Robinson said he still keeps in regular contact with them. So shows how highly regarded Ronan is. So I think it's only a matter of time before he ends up coaching an Irish team or in the Irish setup.
I think he's great. I think he's great.
Rugby, for God's sake, we're here for beer.
We're for beer, yeah. Yeah, back to beer. So, but it was like drinking all those mad hoppy beers in New Zealand and fresh. One of our favorites over there was a beer called Hop Zombie, from Epic Brewery, and like it was almost green. It was that hoppy in the glass. Like it was just. And I think when you're getting to craft beer first, you're kind of seeking the hoppy. You go down that real bitterness and hoppy route, and that's where I discovered it all, and it was class. Yeah,
I love New Zealand hops.
I find with them they're just they're not kind of they're lovely and subtle on you. You know, they're not punching you in the face like American Northern Hemisphere hops. Is that right? Like, you know, they seem to be a bit smoother. You know.
Yeah, we'll see now when you get on to Bruce there. Like that's
pretty slaps in the face.
Yeah, but like I think you're right in what you're saying though. A lot of them are come from German heritage, so those kind of hops, noble hops, and they would crossbred them with like the Cascade. So a lot of them might be Metal Fruit, which is a lager hop, crossbred with Cascade, being an IPA hop, you know, and you kind of get something in the middle and in between. And of course,
Walker is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I don't remember what beer it was, but it was just absolutely phenomenal. Such a unique resiny smell of it. But my knowledge regarding that isn't too great. But yeah, it's been really good.
I remember driving around Nelson, actually. It's a big wine growing region, and it's where Nelson Sauvignon comes from, the hop, obviously. But I remember I didn't know anything about hops at the time, and seeing these big vines and these fields of stuff. I know, what is that stuff like? And called into a little microbrewery there, and yeah, what's in the field next door? And like, well, there are hops. Like, all right, okay. That's my first time seeing hops was over there. Like.
Brilliant. No, it's an incredible country, man. I would put my hand up and say I'd live in Wellington. I'd live in New Zealand tomorrow. I really would.
Yeah, I'd go back. Yeah, it's a lovely place. Very, very similar to Ireland, like low, very green rolling hills. They do like get a defined summer. You know, you get 3 months of good weather, but the winter is cold and wet, just like it is here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and similar attitude to us: work hard, play hard. Yeah.
Especially down in that South Island, I think the weather down there can probably rival our winters, if not worse.
It can be worse, yeah. Like it'd be minus 20. I mean, they go skiing and everything down there, so
yeah. Hard men too. A lot of farmers.
Yeah.
It was funny with the connection with the old Bowden Barris and his family. They were were they in Meath for a while?
They were in Meath for a while, yeah, and then I can't remember exactly. It's amazing those three lads, the three brothers on the All Blacks team. Like it's phenomenal. Like.
Yeah, I mean, but apparently the old man actually went home and said when he retired, he was like, "Right, I'm going to go breed an All Black." We've got 3 of them. I mean, that's good genetics. Like seriously, like I mean, you were genetically gifted.
What are we doing for time there? We bring in Kate from Franciscan Well as our industry person.
I think it's time to introduce some. Yeah.
Some female for considering it's International Women's Week and all the rest. Someone who's probably knows a little bit about beer as well. You know Kate from Franciscan Well, Cathal, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen her in a while, but yeah.
Kate, are you ready? Hi, Kate. Good evening.
Hi. How are you? Hi, Cathal.
How's it going?
Good to virtually see you all.
Yeah, it's great to have a beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're getting a small bit of feedback off you.
I'm sitting here, Cathal. I'm sorry, I'm not drinking Rascals. Huh?
We're getting a small bit of feedback off you. It might be just your microphone, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm supposed to introduce yourself, Kate. You're Kate Clancy, marketing manager at the Franciscan Well. Am I correct? Kate?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us there again? Yeah. Yeah, I said I was just introducing you there. Kate, we all know you as Kate. I suppose we should probably introduce you. And you're in the beer industry slot this week. You're the first person in the beer industry slot, so we'll take it easy. We'll take it easy on you.
Yeah, you better.
I'm glad you didn't stand us up and like someone else.
You're marketing manager. You're marketing manager at the Franciscan Well, correct? Yeah.
So. Yeah. So I've been there. I actually was thinking about this earlier on, and I couldn't believe I've been there for 6 years now, which is insane. Wow. It kind of happened by mistake. I have a marketing degree, and I had never planned on getting into the beer industry. It just never came into my radar. But they were looking for a tour guide down in the Franciscan Well, and I had no job at the time, so I was like, okay, I think I can do this, and it looks like a bit of fun. So that's kind of how it started. And I just found a love for beer. I found a love for the Franciscan Well. And then I was only there, I think I was like 2 hours in the evening, 7 days a week. And then I managed to wingle myself a full-time marketing job there. Don't ask me how, but I managed to get myself in.
We won't delve how you got the job, right?
A lot of hard work, Dave. A lot of hard work.
You climbed the ladder well. Well done. Tell us what is a Franciscan Well? I mean, obviously we can call you the godfathers of the craft beer industry in Cork. You know, I mean the original craft beer of Cork back in the day in '98, was it?
98.
Yeah. What have you been up to? I mean, we won't get into COVID. We have mute buttons. Everybody starts talking COVID and all that shit. We're not here to do it. But what have you been doing? Like, I know you got open for a little while, but what have you been doing takeaway wise and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we've been busy. It's been good. So there's 3 of us still working below, which is great. We're doing beer deliveries, so we have the growlers like yourself, Dave, but we're on Deliveroo, which is a bit mental. Sometimes I feel sorry for the Deliveroo drivers when they come up to collect the beer because they have to cycle with a big bag of a heavy bag of beers, you know. And then we're doing, this is what I have actually to show you here this evening. We're doing these beer packs. So this is for Paddy's Day. Now I dropped the box earlier on, so it's a bit. I dropped it out of the car. So that's for Paddy's Day. So we have 6 Irish breweries inside in that. We're doing the growlers. We're doing nationwide delivery now as well, which is great. And last night we've obviously we concentrated been delving a lot more into cocktails at the moment as well. So we launched a new cocktail product last night called My Mix. So that's keeping us really busy. So it's great. Keeping us busy and keeping us out of trouble, I suppose.
No, awesome. What beers are in the pack, Kate?
I was waiting for you to ask. Okay, so there's the Larkin's Pale Ale. We have the Whiplash Haunt.
Very good.
IPA.
That's a goodie.
Nice.
It is. It's a little bit strong for me, but of course, Yellow Belly, Citra. Yeah. This is their brother. I think this is their new one, actually.
Yeah, it is, and it's actually very good.
Is that the stout?
Yeah, I haven't actually.
No, it's an IPA.
Okay.
Ominous is what it's called. But yeah, I think it's also it's a limited edition. I think. Trouble Brewing and Rising Sun. So that's the Paddy's Day pack.
Kate, can I cut you in there, Sarty? Who we invoice? Who will I invoice for all this free advertising? Kate Clancy, Shane Long, or the Franciscan Well, or Molson Coors. Whoever's got the best. Do you know what? I'll try all 4 of you.
Do Molson Coors.
Molson Coors. Okay.
Yeah.
They got plenty of moolah.
But no, it's nice, and you know what? Like, we're happy as well that we still get to put in orders for people. So that kind of way, it's nice to be still. Now it's not much, obviously. Like, as in a keg, you know. Like, obviously, when we're open, we could be changing kegs, you know, 3 or 4 times a day, especially with our specials, you know. But at the moment, it's a hell of a lot slower than that. So we would love, obviously, to be supporting a little bit more. But it's, you know, it's something. Every little bit helps, I think, at the moment, doesn't it?
We'll have to send some Rascals kegs on our way after talking tonight. We're already becoming friendly, like, you know. We'll organize.
No problem.
Yeah. But do you know what I found personally? It's just great to meet people, you know. Meet your regulars coming in, meet people, isn't it? Like, stay in touch with them, you know. You know, the face to face, you know, it's fantastic, and like, you know, to stay in touch with your regulars, you know.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like, we're the same here, so just takeaway for the restaurant, and you know, you could choose the option of not bother and not open, but like stay in touch with the customers, exactly, and it's good for them as well, you know, because people are stuck at home. They need to get out and go for a walk and call in to see people, like, so.
And I think they appreciate it as well, you know. You know, just to have some little bit of an outlet.
Yeah, we do, guys. Like, any of the breweries and pubs which are open and just, you know, still trying to serve, like, it really is. I mean, it's really appreciative. I'm sure, like, as soon as we eventually get past this hurdle and we all get the jab, it's going to be the biggest party that Ireland's seen for, I think, ever.
We have a new host. We have a new host. We're done, Sean. We're done.
Hi.
Who's this lad?
This is the smallest man in the house. This is Jacob, the smallest man in the house.
You're a married man, Dave. You don't need to use the kid to attract the woman anymore.
They don't look at me anymore, man. They don't look at me anymore, and I don't want them either. I suppose. Being International Women's Day and all the rest, Kate. I mean, we just wanted to touch on that. I mean, we know you've had a Female Festival down in the Well before as well, haven't you? And you were quite proactive in promoting all the Irish craft women in the industry, weren't you?
Yeah, that was amazing. Actually, I think it was 2 years we got. Obviously, we didn't run it last year because of COVID. Sorry, I said the word. But,
yellow card.
Yeah, that means I'd have to take a shot. But yeah. It was amazing. I suppose I didn't really realize how many women were in the industry, you know, until I actually started to gather information. And I don't know, did any of you, Dave, you came down, Cahill, yourself, you were there, weren't you?
My sister did a talk there on graphic design, I think.
Yes, yeah. So it was lovely just to showcase, I suppose, just, you know, you don't have to be, you know, a brewer to be in the drinks industry. So it was just highlighting people, you know, like the graphic designers, people in marketing, people in sales. So it was great, really, really good. It's definitely something I would like to run again once everything is back to normal. Fingers crossed.
Brilliant.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And Kate, what are you? You guys have like a little brewery on site there. We don't want to give you free promotional marketing material here, but I mean, what beers do you guys brew at the Franwell?
So at the moment, so you probably know that we have the two breweries.
Yeah.
So just the one that's on in the bar is just brewing the stout at the moment. And then so I don't know if you know Pete, our brewer, so he brews the stout. And then down the large brewery then is Chieftain IPA, the Rebel Red, and the Friar Vice, and the Archway. So yeah.
Just touching on that Chieftain, Carl, you're obviously familiar with the Chieftain.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Why does it hit you so hard?
I don't know. I actually just...
I mean, it's like, what, it's 5%, right? I don't believe that. That thing hits me like a brick hammer. Like, seriously, like I can take an 8%, 9% beer and I'll wake up feeling fine. You give me two Chieftains, I am hurting. Hurting worse than if I've drank Heineken for a night.
It's funny, it's not. I don't actually know what that's about. Like we've often said in the bar before, we were saying that we were going to get Survivor on the back. Just because so many people have really bad like stories of the night that they drank too much Chieftain and stories of the hangover, you know, just the horrific hangover. But yeah, I don't know. And I look at Shane Long and he could drink 10 pints of it and he seems fine, you know. So, I don't know.
Well, it was Friar Vice back in the day had the same effect on me. Oh man, it was just it used to knock me for 6. 4 or 5 pints of that, 4 or 5 pints of that, and I'd have the shakes, you know. But you know, touching on Chieftain though, Chieftain, I must say, I'd say, Carl, you probably agree, has done an awful lot for the craft beer industry. You know, it's from an IPA perspective, it got people drinking IPA that never drank IPA before. You know, because malts and Coors put into so many bars around the country that then suddenly people are asking for IPAs. You know, in bars that were lager drinkers, they might have been stout drinkers. You know, I think Chieftain has done an awful lot for the craft beer industry. You know, unintentionally or intentionally. You know.
But yeah, it's a good beer for sure. My favorite has always been Rebel Red. I like those kind of traditional red ales a lot. What's this one here, Sean?
Rascals Wonderbar. You guys are taking too long with the Bettys and all that, so I'm just
You've moved on.
keeping myself hydrated.
You're dead right. It's a Friday evening.
But that's a challenge for you, Cole. A nice Imperial Red.
Imperial Red.
Yeah,
we did a double red IPA before called Flaming Dipper with Australian hops.
I remember that one.
Australian hops, yeah. So
it might have been. I need to find. I think it needs.
There
to
was
come
early days, very early days. We made that one. Probably keg only.
What I'd love.
The last time I saw you actually was it in the beer house? Were you launching?
We did a night there. It probably like a tap takeover or something.
It was.
I remember we had a cask of.
Oh yeah, it was a whiskey barrel aged.
Whiskey stout. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
That was good.
That's definitely the last time I think that we
For sure. Oh, you're dead right. That's exactly when it was. Yeah. It was good actually. With two friends came on and
ended up in the trailer.
I suppose. Will we move on to the? Are you ready to move on to the Betty already, Sean? Or sorry, not the Betty, the Bruce. Or
Bruce.
I have a bit left, but I can get rid of it. You know.
We can move on.
What's in the names, Carl?
They're the names of the hops. Yeah, so the names.
Is that right?
So as I was saying earlier, like we found it difficult to get good New Zealand hops, but these hops are from Freestyle Hops, and that's the name of the farm. So these guys have been growing hops for 50 years, and the owners of the farm are Bruce and Betty. So they handpicked the hops. You know, it's like early Motueka and late Pacifica, depending on when they're grown, and they blend them together. and the two blends are Bruce and Betty. So that's the name of the beers.
Very good.
I read all that information today. I did my research. I read the Rascals website and their Facebook page.
Good.
I watch video, Sean. I'm a proper presenter.
Yes, so some of us have real jobs, David. But this is the first time that I'm actually tasting the Bruce and Betty. I haven't pre-screened it, and so far I'm ecstatic. But the Bruce is probably more my style, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, the bigger hitting juice kind of bomb. Which is all the rage these days. So it's not like a big murky hazy beer, but there is definitely haze to it, you can see. And on the nose end, like what we were getting is like tangerine, orange, a little bit of grapefruit, and a little bit of gooseberry as well. So I think there's definitely a crossover in the blend of the hops between the Bruce and the Betty, but Bruce is definitely an IPA hop.
Your graphics on these cans are stunning. Who does all your graphics work?
Sorry, my sister is our designer.
Wow.
So she's done all this, and she lived in New Zealand. We overlapped for a while. We were there together.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of work went into this, and a lot of research, because a lot of the Maori culture is using these graphics, and it's very religious for those people. So we wanted to make sure that this was her design. She did it from scratch.
Right.
Influenced by the Maori artwork. And there's been people who've gotten in trouble before, not just breweries, but other brands, where they've just grabbed something online. This is New Zealand, whatever, and they've plastered it on their products. And then it's like I don't know, your family crest. If someone stuck that in a can of beer and said, O'Donoghue's pale ale or whatever, and you go, right, that's got nothing to do with me. Why is my thing all over? She designed these herself based on New Zealand or Maori culture. So a lot of work into it.
The colours are fantastic as well.
Yeah, it is, and it's actually textured as well. If you rub the face, you can feel the kind of texture. Yeah,
of course. Kate,
she's really good. She's brilliant.
Kate, you're into your design as well. You've launched a design company through the last couple of months as well. KCD. KCD.
Yeah. KCD, yeah.
KCD is a bit of a tongue twister. KCD. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's just something to do on the side, just to keep myself occupied and busy. But it's good though. I'm enjoying it.
What kind of stuff do you work on, Kate?
They're just prints. So like they're just kind of like mainly for kids, for nurseries and things like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it's going well. Like it's keeping me, as I say, keeping me busy. Something that's not panicked at the start of the first lockdown, because I was kind of like, oh God, like if I don't have a job in 6 months' time, what am I going to do? So that's, I suppose, this is my backup plan if anything goes wrong, basically. So it's good, yeah. You have to check it out on Instagram, yeah.
Fair play. KCD Designs, yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely getting invoiced for that free plug, all right?
I was going to say, you can see us up on the screen there. Check out
Kate
Can't See Designs.
Because I'm pretty sure you asked me to come on.
Kate, we can't have you on and not ask you about something though. I think probably one of the last nights we went on the piss together, myself and yourself. It was the White Hag beer puppet night down in the beer house. Yeah, I mean, we've done our research. I'm a good presenter, and we've done a bit of digging.
Oh, geez.
And I don't know if you can see that image or not there now. At this moment.
No. Okay.
Can you explain what the thought process behind that?
I totally missed.
Have you got the poncho?
I mean,
I've got the poncho on. Yeah. And I totally missed.
Let me see. Can we get it? We can make it full screen so people can see it.
You are such. I'm actually calling you a liar.
So we're in Cork. We're in Cork.
You got a little bit in your mouth, did you?
A little bit. Yeah, Dave, you weren't much better yourself, to be fair.
There's videos of me online. I can pull them up if you want. They're not to hand, but I nailed it.
Oh, for God's sake!
No, we had to. We couldn't. Do you know what? You're squeaky clean other than that, so that's all we could get on you.
Phew. Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we had on you. I think Sean's gone to the toilet there or something. Okay. But yeah, I mean that was a crazy night on the piss. My God. I don't think I've had a night like that in a long time. But
Yeah.
touching back to you again. That's the only bit of slagging, I promise. Easterfest is coming up. Another free promo. When's that happening?
Easterfest is coming up, yeah. So we're running it on the 2nd and 3rd of April. So that's Good Friday and the Saturday. And we are basically just sending out beer packs again. Now I know this is like, I feel like it's been, hey, you're back. How
was it, John?
Relieving.
Okay, good then. Go on ahead, Kate.
You totally made me lose my train of thought there. But anyway.
Easterfest,
yeah. So yeah, we're sending out beer packs to everybody. So any brewery that we had, I can't believe we didn't run it last year either. So this is the second year that we're not running the Easter Beer Festival, which is insane. And we have 20 breweries involved and a pack with 20 beers in it. Not 20, sorry, I think we have 12 breweries involved, 20 beers inside in the pack. And then throughout the weekend, people will do live tastings, and there's going to be, I think, our own lads in the large brewery are going to do a virtual tour, because I don't think many people have been into the large brewery, so I think that would be interesting for people. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. And
it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. No one's been inside, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, and Ronan from Blacks is doing a tasting. I said I give him a plug because I forgot to add him on our Facebook event when I was putting it up, so I felt really bad about that. So I think Ronan is on the first at 4:45 or 5:30 on the Friday. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
And is this all through your Facebook Live, or is it on a link to a website or something? Or?
Now I see, Dave, you might give me a demo on how you're running this because it's quite slick. But
it's slick this week.
Whoa, you just cursed us, David. Like you have just put the Mickey on.
There's women present. Behave yourself.
Carl
doesn't like that.
But I'm not sure. We'll see.
StreamYard is the way to go. StreamYard is brilliant.
You know what, Kate? Unfortunately, Dave was just very quick to burn you and whip out that picture. But he doesn't help to preclude where we managed to find him at the end of the night once we left Abbott's, which brings up the Cork Ale Trail. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, the Cork Ale Trail, we start off at Bradley's, we head down to the Franciscan Well, we stop off at the Friary, then we go to the beer house, then we go to Abbott's, and then we come back to the beer house. But for some reason, Dave decided to go to church after Abbott's. So we found Dave visiting the church at about must have been after 12 that night. You were early for the Saturday Mass.
There was, you gotta talk to the beer gods at that hour of night and just say, find my way home or something. I don't know what it was. There was a little stumble. Come here, man.
I'm lost there.
I know where it's going. I think we walked back from the Abbott Ale House and I had a bit of a stumble. It was a bit of a stumble.
Oh, okay.
Happens the best mistake.
Yeah. I was genuflecting,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, I suppose, for Kate? Not really. I mean, yeah.
Well, what's your favorite beer, Kate?
Nice.
Trouble. GCP Ale. Yeah.
Ambush.
Definitely. Ambush, yeah, sorry, they're Ambush or Yellow Belly Citra. Anything sour? Yeah, I kind of I'm like, as well, I had to kind of work hard. I just kind of had to push through the first few, but I absolutely love any sour. Any of the White Hag sours I have as well, I think. But yeah, definitely Ambush is my number one. Yeah,
it's a really good beer.
We'll have to, Kate. We'll have to touching on nights out, and we'll have to get a Cork Ale Trail night back the minute we can do it again.
Yeah, that would be great.
Do you know we were doing them? We took them for granted as small, but we were always saying, we can't do too many. But Jesus, what we wouldn't do for one now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd walk around the park with a couple of Rascals cans in my hands 5 times just to say we did a trail,
Yeah. We got a little one in our ice. Dave, you were working that night just before when the pubs opened that time for 10 days. we managed to get around to all the bars all right.
Yeah, Shane was out that night, wasn't he? Yeah.
Shane joined us that night. Yeah, I think he'd like that now. I think it was just like any night that was going. He was like, "I'm coming," because he was just. Yeah.
Here's a great question. Oh, we're putting you on the spot here.
Me, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Are there any breweries that Cahill is jealous of coming from James Dundon?
That I'm jealous of?
Oh.
Yeah.
In Irish breweries or what?
Let's go for one Irish and then international.
Jealous.
Well, rephrase it. Any.
Which is your favorite brewery?
Any breweries you admire?
That I like, would say.
You admire.
I like any beer I get from Lervig. I think they nail it every single time.
100%.
Irish breweries, I'm a big fan of Kinnegar. Again, every time you get a can of their beer, it's spot on.
We're talking of Kinnegar. Sorry, cutting across here. Talking of, we might as well give them a plug because Kate's done enough plugging. We have Kinnegar on next week on the next episode on our St. Patrick's Weekend special on the 19th to the 3rd. So Rick is going to be on. So,
deadly, yeah.
If you have any dirt on him, Carl, send it our way, yeah?
No, he's keeping that, man.
We'll put him up on a pedestal.
But no, I think I really do enjoy their beers. But there's so many.
I think they're very underrated, Kinnegar, in fairness. I mean, they don't probably get enough of the credit they deserve. Is that right in saying it?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, any beer I've ever had from, like, you know, you talk about Irish breweries without naming everyone off the top of your head, but like Whiplash is always on everyone's tongues, you know, because power beers. Wick the Wolf is on everyone's tongue this year because they've been knocking good beers out of the park all the time, and they got Irish Brewery of the Year with some was it Bure or someone gave it to them?
Yeah.
Galway Bay has a big influence in Dublin, you know, with the Galway Bay bars. But I mean, I think Kinnegar, just being the Donegal base or something, I don't think they get the actual credit they deserve sometimes.
Yeah, like I think their Rust Bucket or their rye beers are great. Rust Bucket, Black Bucket, they have a double rye IPA at the moment as well. I love that kind of spicy flavour you get from the rye, and they complement the hops so well. No, I think they're brilliant brewery. Yeah.
There might be a collaboration. Might be a collaboration on ways, huh?
I don't know. I'll do that up for it.
Yeah, we'll mention it. We will mention it to Rick next week. We'll hook you up. Don't worry.
We've actually got a special rye. It's a barrel aged imperial rye stout from Kinnegar for next week. So it hasn't been canned yet. It is only available at the beer house on Growler. So yeah, there's a bit of promo for Dave. Yeah, we're promoting everything tonight. This is just a marketing show. Like we're just going out wild. But yeah, that's going to be one of the featured beers next week. But I mean, yeah, I think we need to just touch on like just finish off on, you know, touching on the Bruce and Betty. Like, so, I mean, what the love was from your time in New Zealand.
And we all, like I said, we always wanted to brew New Zealand hops. Some of the hops we got in the past weren't brilliant, but like, as you can see, these ones are great.
Very good.
So like, Betty, easy drinking 4.5% lager with a bit of citrus and gooseberry. And then Bruce is your kind of juicy, full on IPA. A little bit of resin in there as well. But yeah, look, we're very happy with the two beers, and the artwork as well is cool. So
the can work is phenomenal. Like, are we looking at a yearly thing here, like with once a year?
We're thinking about doing something again with some New Zealand hops, maybe in the autumn, and do a winter IPA, because they're harvesting around now, but it takes about 6 months to get them over to this side of the world. And I suppose we maybe not to be delayed, but we want to get the recipes right before we launch these ones. But I think now we'll try and get beers brewed in maybe in August or September with the New Zealand hops. But maybe a yearly thing. A lot of people often ask us that, but we kind of there's a couple of beers that do come back. Like our strawberry milkshake is one that comes back every year. But I think it's good to mix it up and have new ones every so often.
Yeah. Exactly.
Kate, have you got a friend's favorite Rascals beer, or do you remember a Rascals beer you've had in the past? Did you kind of went whoa?
Strawberry milkshake. Yeah, definitely is what I was drinking that night that you had the tap table. Yeah.
Just because it was red and it was colourful, yeah.
And we've had it at our cask festival before. Have you put in cask for us?
Not sure about the milkshake, but we definitely had it at the Easter Fair. We would have had we would have had a keg at the Easter Fest.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely that one.
Anything you want to ask Carl, Kate, before we kick you off? Sorry, Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, how's everything going with the pizza? I actually haven't been up. I think we were in Dublin, all right, and did you close on a Monday? I think we were going to.
Yeah, we're only open from Wednesday to Sundays.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a shame. We were mad to get in. Now this is well before COVID, but how's that going for you?
Yeah, like I was saying to lads, the restaurant is takeaway only, so but like it's important to stay in contact with the customers. But it's going solid, so it's steady enough. The brewery is going well, like the beers are selling and all that, but the restaurant side is kind of just ticking over.
It looks fab. Do you have? I don't know if this is. I heard this, but do you have like a little play area for kids in the?
We did for a while. It was problematic, to be honest. Yeah, like the idea was good. I suppose, like, you can come have a few beers and your kids can colour in with or play toys.
Yeah,
or whatever,
I thought that was a great idea.
At one stage, it was like a creche. I mean, there was one Sunday. I think I must have been about 25 kids in there, and it was mental. And like in a way, it was dangerous because you're walking around with glasses and hot food and all that. Like, and they're running around and with
adults getting drunk. And
kids. Sometimes the adults are worse than the kids. Like, they do get drunk, and the kids are swinging
especially
out.
with the Dublin inhabitants. They're a little bit unruly, That's
and all it takes is one kid to bang his head, and the whole thing is.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely, and when we got rid of the it was purely for safety reasons for both the staff and for the kids. There was a little bit of kickback. Oh, you anti kids and all that. Of course, we're not like. So now we give them coloring books and stuff like that, so they can sit down and at the table with their parents, and they can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
You have a lovely comment there, Cathal, from David McHugh, a good beer house regular. He said you brewed the perfect his and her beers, Bruce and Betty.
Cool. Yeah, deadly. Thanks very much, Dave.
David's a good supporter of the beer house. He's in every week for a growler, or he's buying online as well. So good regular.
And the growler is going well for you, Dave, actually, in the beer house.
A lot better than I thought. It just you have to push it every week, and you have to keep at it, What I realize is there's no point in pouring core range beers in the brewery. You can pour maybe one or two, but you have to be very selective in what you pour. But then equally, it's difficult to get good beers as well at the moment, That's where Grand Cru have been handy. There's been a couple of Sierra Nevadas. We've had Sierra Nevada, Big Little Ting. I think we've got Sierra Nevada, Colch. The Wonderland, the one with the orange or nectarine. So that's coming up next. So yeah, they're going okay, Yeah. But it's the same people coming back again.
That Wonderland was actually really good. I had it in a bottle. I can't wait to have that on draft because that was really a really good beer.
Okay. So, Kate, we're going to say goodbye to you. Sorry, you've been great.
Nice to see you, Kate.
Yeah, you too.
We'll see you in person again sometime.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, do you want to stay? Do you want to stay? We give it a Sean.
Yeah. Okay, bye, Sean.
Bye, Sean. We should have a vote. But you know what?
I must say, when you were talking about rugby there for the first 10 minutes when you logged on, I just totally zoned out.
So who's going to win? Who's going to win on Sunday, Kate? Ireland or Scotland?
Oh, Ireland. I'll go for Ireland.
Yeah, right.
What sport is on Sunday?
Rugby.
Oh, well done. Well done.
There's also a really important soccer game, Kate.
Shut up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Kate, thanks for
having me on. Really appreciate it. And hopefully see you all soon.
Cool.
We'll see. Hopefully we'll see for beer in some shape or form.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Good night, Kate. Thanks for coming on. Cheers.
Okay, thank you.
So just the three of us again, lads. Three
musketeers.
Three big ladies again talking about beer. So where are we at? We've tucked into the brews, haven't we? So I mean, we can sip away at that for the rest of the evening.
I think it's time for the beer badger.
Oh yeah, you'll enjoy him. Kyle. This is the Mr. Untapped. Mr. Untapped, Declan Buckley. We'll see if he's ready there.
There's probably not a beer that you have produced that this man has not consumed.
Right, okay.
There probably isn't a beer on the planet this man hasn't consumed. 11,500 check-ins on Untapped. We worked it out. loosely at a 5.
In what time period?
About 5 years, 5 or 6 years.
Well,
We worked it out.
That's
We worked it out.
2,000 beers a year.
We worked it out the other night, last night. That's about 60 grand worth of beer. If you were loosely saying a $5 a beer, that's a nice yacht somewhere in the Pacific, or I don't know. You could buy
you
away
don't
buy
have
a
much
small
back in
island.
the yacht, would you?
All right, we'll bring him on and ask him about it anyway. Good evening, Decky. Decky, can you hear us okay? No, can't hear Decky. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me, Carl?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dave. It's Decky.
Yeah. Lose the headphones. Declan got a new laptop recently, so yeah, I think he's struggling with it. Decky? No, he's got no volume.
So, Decky, if you can hear us, we can't hear you.
Yeah, and Cahill's gone into Wonderland now as well, so we might.
I think his laptop was about to die.
Okay.
I saw him reaching for like the charger.
Oh, do you know what? It's my fault. I had him on mute. Decky, how are you?
Good. You hear me now?
Sorry, man. Yeah, you're on, man. You're on.
Yeah, no, I just noticed it was on mute there.
Yeah, I had you. Maybe you had yourself on mute, or I put you on mute. I'm not too sure. One of
No. I'll blame you anyway.
Yeah, welcome to House Flies Live.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming on. Good to see you, man. Good to have a beer with you. I think the last beer we had together was in my garden, wasn't it?
That would be yeah.
We finished a keg of Black's. What was it? Ace of Haze, or attempted to.
Yeah, some good stuff.
That was your birthday, wasn't it? Well, Susanna had friends after, so.
It was a couple of weeks earlier, yeah. So tell us, man, how you been through this whole shit show called COVID?
Surviving. Thank God for deliveries and yourself dropping beers over to me. Yeah. That's that's kind of stuff. Just working from home, and like I'd be used to traveling at least once, twice a month anyway, and probably once a month going abroad and stuff. So it's kind of tough being stuck in one place. And like I said, you'd miss the beer house and the Abbots and the socializing. And
we can actually touch on that about your, international travels. I mean, that's mainly for beer festivals, right?
Beer festivals and music festivals, concerts, yeah.
And
I suppose the last 2 or 3 years, I suppose, been more beer festivals than concerts. But
you definitely get around.
I do, yeah. It's I've volunteered for quite a few beer festivals. It's kind of a cheap way of getting over there as well. So you get free beer and T-shirts and stuff. You volunteer for a few hours and do one shift. You'd work for one session and then you get the next session for free.
Fantastic.
Do that for a couple of days. I've done like the London Craft Beer Festival for a couple of years. Worked with Northern Monk, Cloudwater.
I think the Northern Monk one, I've got a ticket for that, actually. It's happening in July. It's
it's supposed to be, I'm down to volunteer for that, but it depends on what way the travel restrictions continue as to whether I'll get over or not.
Well, it might be easier to fly to the UK, get vaccinated, and then come back here.
Possibly, yeah.
So, Decky, how many Rascals beers have you drank?
A lot. Let me just check.
We are now going to the database. This is how accurate this man is. I mean, I thought I was having a beer log with my little, whatever I'm doing on Instagram, but this man.
Cahill, the way touching on this guy, I was before he came on. We were telling you like I nicknamed him the beer badger, or the more disgusting version would be the beer. We'll say the bad word for a woman who likes to, we'll say, work late at night. It begins with a W. That's the best way of describing it. But this man won't do anything for a badge on Untapped. He's drank some bad beers in the time, but he's drank some good beers as well. But 11,500 beers, we were saying. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a lot when you, I suppose, look at it. Yeah, it's like just coming up in 5 years.
We worked it out.
Yeah,
2,000 beers a year.
you started me on it.
Yeah, and
But
then
Dickie, I
I
mean, that is, how many beers do you think you drink a week?
your mother's not watching. You're okay.
A lot. Like you got to remember, a lot of those are from festivals, so you're talking samplers and stuff. Like it's not like they're all masses or steins.
Okay. But I mean, it
It's
still does
still
work
a
out
lot.
it does work out to be about 1,800 beers a year, which, I mean, we calculated it down
Roughly.
to about 50 beers a week.
It was actually higher. Like it would have been higher if it wasn't for COVID last year. So yeah, it was really hard to kind of get a hold of stuff there for a long while.
So you were even impacted by COVID. I mean, COVID fucked
Yep.
your average up.
I brought it down. Yeah.
You're not getting all those. You're not getting all those destinations anymore. Or those bars across the country. What do they call it?
Yeah,
The
so
venue,
yeah,
venues.
not been able to travel to festivals or. I suppose with Brexit now as well, like you're not able to get a lot of beers from the UK.
Yeah.
They're not exporting stuff at the moment because of all the paperwork and other rubbish.
I
Have you got
know Grand Cru before Brexit, they imported a load of beer from the UK in December to kind of stockpile, and then they were saying to wait and see what would happen with Brexit. And I think it was a good decision because they still have their main UK breweries, even though they haven't brought any in since. And having a cold room or cold storage, the beer is perfect. But I think there's been serious issues with Brexit, like getting hops and stuff like that has been problematic, and anything like bits of steel or a fitting for a pH meter that we use in the brewery, beer equipment that might cost £100 to replace. It took 6 weeks to get here. And that I ended up buying from France and Nims, and it was here in 2 days.
Yeah, I'm ordering some stuff online now from Holland and places. Yeah, it takes a couple of weeks to get here.
I mean, anything coming from the UK, I mean, it's got that 23% VAT on it. Yeah. And if it's over a certain amount, then it's getting impacted on even more. Like, it's going to be really hard to get UK beers in Ireland, unless something gets sorted out.
Absolutely, yeah.
It becomes
good for Irish breweries, eh? Irish breweries will get a bigger push.
But I mean, it doesn't make sense to be spending 8, 9, 10 euros on a beer. Like on an average IPA, that shouldn't be that expensive. It's disappointing, but I mean, surely that's going to apply both ways. So for Irish breweries to get into the UK, I mean, is that going to be a tax thing, or do you think the UK is going to let that slide? Do you know anything about that, Carl?
Yeah, I think we're already paying excise on beer, and if I sell beer to the UK, then whoever receives it pays the excise, and there's no tariff then because that is the tariff already. But I do know there's more paperwork. I haven't dealt with it myself, but our sales guys did a course for 3 or 4 days on how to complete all this paperwork and all the rest of it. And but that's the hard part. I think once you've that nailed, it should be okay. Because but I think for other stuff though, other bits of equipment, like be it stainless steel or bits of fair barbecue or whatever, if it comes to the UK, it's going to be delayed and there'll be an extra tariff even to the end consumer.
Yeah. I mean, James is asking isn't there he says, is there a cardboard problem?
Yeah, and aluminium as well for cans. So most of our cans are printed, the core beers, like Happy Days, for example. Our Big Hop Red, we ran out, so we had to use a shrink sleeve on those cans, so a blank can with a shrink sleeve on it, and the same for the Fruitopolis. So they're 2 core beers, so immediately you're paying for the can and the shrink sleeve rather than just paying for a printed can. That's it there. You can probably see it as a plastic edge on the edge of it.
Well, I was going to ask, when did because I was actually chatting to the other locals from the beer house earlier on today.
Yeah.
When did it change to a slightly more metallic color? I mean, last year it seemed to be more of a, a pastel color, if not.
When the shortage happens, because we were able to get... You were able to get blank cans, but to get to print off a minimum of 150,000 cans of one SKU, which would do you for a year and a bit or whatever, right? but that only takes maybe half an hour for the big canning companies to print off.
Yeah.
Whereas they could spend all day printing Coke, and then at the end of the run, they would stop that, reset the machine, run it for half an hour for fruit chocolates or Happy Days or whatever, and then start up the machine again and run it for 4 days to print off Heineken cans. So it's almost like a nuisance to them. So plus with all the whole pandemic, there's a shortage of aluminium, and then like your guy said there, a shortage of cardboard. It's been nuts, crazy like. And
challenge.
Sorry, say that again, Dave.
I said just literally challenge after challenge after challenge. You think you get over the aluminium one, and then you got a cardboard problem,
Yeah, like we ran over our boxes there, so we're going to have to use plain boxes now again for a while. But it's fine, it's fine.
It's amazing how we depend on our close neighbour, I don't think anybody anticipated the demand that we'd actually all look for the same thing, and the problems Brexit would bring. Getting back to yourself, Decky, a favorite Rascals beer, a favorite, or a favorite, a favorite Rascals beer for yourself that you've had in the past, or
I've liked a lot of the one-off specials. I've been to the tap room there a couple of times now for visits, and I really like the Bruce there now as well. I'm just having that there at the moment. Decent beer.
Did you hear that, Sean? He's been there a couple of times.
Listen, I was there as soon as I was allowed to go there, and it took a lot of persuasion for me to be allowed out that day. And I was only allowed out for the lunchtime period, but it was good, and I had a really good time. Is it Inchicore? Is that the area?
Yeah, Inchicore, Dublin 8. Yeah.
That's Paul McGrath country, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, the Black Pearl.
Hopefully get back there soon.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying as well, Decky. Like it is, you'd miss the old beer festivals, all right? They're good crack.
Brilliant.
You're tasting amazing beers and you're talking to like-minded people.
I think Fidelity Fest is supposed to be. They did say that they were going to try have it this year, but
I'd be surprised not if that went ahead. It'd be great.
Still selling tickets, but I suppose it depends on how the restrictions pan out in the next couple of months.
It definitely wouldn't. It's not going to happen before August. That's probably best case scenario.
As much as we can have a beer here tonight and we can crack a beer open, you can't meet people in a pub. As Irish people, that's something you can't replace.
I think the pub it shows how important the pub actually is it's not for drinking beer, but for a social side of things.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, I don't really read the tabloids, but if I pick up the wrong iPad, that's what gets shown up as like pub updates, like when the reopening dates are. Like the whole biggest strife, even going across to the UK with my mates there, they come back and be like, the headlines are all about the Irish pubs. Like that's the main issue. If the pubs are open, everyone will be fine.
Yeah, it's the mental health side of things. Yeah, it's nuts.
Have you got a favorite beer festival you've been at, Decky? Or a favorite country you visited for beer?
Favorite beer festival, like the London Craft Beer Festival, just for the range of stuff they get from all over the world is really, really good. And just in terms of organization and more kind of unusual beers, Billy's Craft Beer Festival in Antwerp was really, really well done, and they have a lot of like Russian, Eastern European beers, Brazilian beers, just kind of stuff you wouldn't normally come across, but it's just really, really well run and really good value.
And then how do you get involved in like volunteering? Like, do you just hit them up via an email, or how does it? Other people wanting to get involved.
Yeah, I've just been going to festivals for a couple of years, and then talking to some people said they were volunteering, so I asked them how they did it. So they basically just like emailed the breweries, like a lot of their Facebook pages or Twitter, they'd actually like put up notices saying they're looking for volunteers, and you just send them on your details and cross your fingers.
Oh, very good.
But like once you get your foot in the door, it's a lot easier to kind of get asked along to other ones then once you've had the experience.
Yeah.
Because you've had some crazy trips. I mean, there was that one time, I think, was it you and John? You went to like Eastern Europe, and then you were doing a couple of festivals there, or?
Yeah, there was a music festival in Zagreb, but like we kind of touched down in Munich for a short while, and took in Budapest as well for a day or two. I did Austria on the way back. John went back a different route. But yeah, Zagreb is really good, yeah. So,
all right. Carl, I think this question... Oh, sorry, Dickie. Carl, I think this might be for you. Was it a Chardonnay Saison you did? Or...
Yeah, we did it a couple of times. We had a Chardonnay wine barrel, and we put a Saison into it. Yeah, it was a very interesting beer. You have it there, do you?
No, I think Dickie's. It's time for Dickie to show like what he's most famous for.
Present from Dave.
We gotta share
dog
this
beer.
Yeah.
What do you give that an Untapped?
Yeah, I actually haven't checked in on Untapped.
You can tell me there if you can see this properly here now.
Oh God!
Kyle, I think if next time that Dickie comes up to Rascals, I think you need to roll out the red carpet with his Untapped royalty now that you know about it. I mean, he definitely has to be the leading Untapped person in the whole of Ireland. I mean, I think Untapped are approaching 1 billion check-ins. Dickie, are you going for it? Do you want to be that 1 billionth?
I might go for the number, but I think to win anything, you have to be resident in the States.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I'll keep checking him in and see what happens.
Do they do suffer at significant numbers like that?
This is it, I think. Can you see that, lads? Okay, yeah.
It's like an email, is it, or what?
Has the video popped up yet? No.
No, not yet. No. It's just got your email at the moment, Dave.
Okay, let me work on it. I'll bring the screen back on. Okay, 1 second. I get the screen back on. I get you all back in. 1 second. I get us all back in. I'll stop sharing that. All right, I'll bring us back for a second. Go on, chat between yourselves, and I'll work on this. But yeah, we've got some dirt on Dickie. Talking to dog beer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think somebody asked earlier there what was the worst beer I ever had, or my lowest rated. Yeah, it's definitely bottom sniffer.
You can't really classify that as a beer. I mean,
no, it's awful. It had bits floating in it and everything. I don't know, bits of beef or something. It was just
for God's sake,
rancid.
Okay, there's a new puppy in the family.
I'm literally just going to pop off because we've been at this for an hour, and I have to visit the little boys' rooms. So I'll be back in a second, and then I think I have the video ready. So keep chatting there, John.
Yeah, no worries about that. So I suppose, I mean, Carl, like the main things that were coming through from the lads is they wanted barrel age. They wanted to know what other projects you guys have going on in the future.
Barrel age, we haven't done much barrel aging stuff since we moved to the new facility, except for the whiskey stout. I see Ron's question about Chardonnay Saison. Like, my worry is having wild yeast and stuff in the brewery. I'd love to do it, but if we were to do it, I'd have it in a separate building or a separate warehouse or something like that.
Oh yeah. And then, I mean, obviously it's a play on the name, but I'm sure your sister might have had something with it. But all your screenshots, like your mug shots up on the website with the glasses and the white shirts.
Oh yeah, that's
pretty cool. What's the story behind that?
That was Joe with his marketing hat on. Decided to do that and have all our everyone having the same. I think a band did it or something. That was his reasoning behind it. I don't know. I don't really get it.
And then, like, you were at college. Were you at CIT or UCC?
Cork IT. Yeah, I studied physics in Cork IT.
Physics. Okay, so I was going to ask, like, is that how you got into brewing, or how did you get into brewing?
I guess so. Yeah, so studied physics and instrumentation, and then I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a few years, both here and in New Zealand. And the plant I worked in New Zealand, the product they were making was animal vaccines, and the whole process was fermentation. So that's how they.
We have it. This is man versus dog beer. Starring.
That's Dickie doing his Untapped check-in.
I liked it last.
He's going to try it in the morning, I think.
Good God, looks like a bowl of piss.
Good memories.
Sure, going the same way as it.
What's that shit floating in it?
Going the same way as it.
Christ.
A bowl of piss.
Lumps
What's
of
that
something
shit floating
on
in?
the fucking thing. Oh, Jesus. There we go. Get the
Give him a
logos
challenge
now.
and he'll do it. Give him a challenge and he'll do it.
Give that dog a bone.
Bit of Heroes advertising on the bowl zone. That's a soft market eater, yeah. That's Eddie McGarry in the background, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely Eddie McGarry's laugh. Oh god.
Fair play.
Fair play
yeah.
to Dickie, jeez, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I'll just try and get rid of it. Yeah, we're back. But yeah, so I mean, we said we'd do it again tonight. Are anyone up for it? I've got mine. Did you get yours, Zach? Did you get one of the posts, Kyle?
Is that freshly opened now, or is that water in a bottle?
No, that's dog beer, man. That's dog beer. That's the dog beer. Have you got yours, Dick? All right.
She still feel left out, lads.
Bottom.
You know what? I'm gonna save mine because we got a new puppy in the family, and like I'm gonna give this to him when we get up to Leitrim. So,
all right. I'm probably gonna regret this tomorrow, but yeah, let's give it a go. Now. God, it smells vile. All right. Cheers, Dick. Cheers, Sean.
cheers, guys. I'm sticking with my Rascals.
Stick of the beer.
Sweet.
Oh god, my beer was beautiful. How was your guys?
I'm not too sure if it tastes like dog's piss or cat's piss, but it doesn't taste like anything that resembles it.
Oh no!
The last time I tried that, it took about 4 days to get rid of the taste in my mouth. I was trying everything.
It's funny. Mine
food, you name it.
Mine is very watery. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, Dave, you prick!
Oh, I knew it.
Oh, Dickie, did you actually drink the real thing again?
Yeah.
Oh, Dave.
Fair play.
Dickie, well done. I feel for you.
I
didn't finish it this time though.
No, I'm not surprised.
Hand up. I did say I would drink it tonight. I cracked the beer open this afternoon just to see what I was getting myself into, and I had a wee sip. And the minute it touched my lips, I was like, "Good God!" I changed a lot of nappies, and I was like, "It smelled like nappies." I was like, I don't. You told me it took 4 days for the taste to get out of your mouth.
Yeah. Even some of the dogs in the bar wouldn't touch it.
Well, Bubbles wouldn't touch it, but Bubbles.
We're not doing any dog beers, anyway.
But Carl, you got a actually great comment here from Seamus. Just a big shout out. Rascals is such a lovely place to grab a beer and food with mates. Great beers, great people. Hope you all guys are doing well.
Thanks very much, Seamus. Appreciate that. Good to hear.
I don't think I've heard a single bad thing about Rascals. The head HQ. Like seriously, I mean that's top form.
Thanks, lads. It's good. Just can't wait to get people back in there. You know.
Yeah. We could all start hugging rather than telling each other we're all.
Yeah. Looking at sure through a screen.
Could you imagine? Lads, outside of your your family and your close family, can you imagine what's your first hug? Like us as a nation, on a different note, like we're not big huggers, we're not like the French, we don't kiss each other on each cheek or anything. But I'd say there'll be a whole lot of hugging going on once this is over. You might meet your best mate and go in for the hug, or the handshake. Yeah. You'll be shaking hands and you weren't shaking hands before, You'll be best friends with every prick out there, like even fellas you don't really like.
Yeah. Especially after a few beers,
Yeah. Anyway,
Dickie, I've got a question for you though.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had a big brand beer, like one of those horrible, conglomerate companies that just mass produce headache-producing beer?
I've had a lot of Guinness. My father drinks Guinness.
Guinness is fine. We're talking about more of the other ones.
Ooh. I can't remember having one for a long time anyway.
Yeah.
Talking of nitros, have you had the new O'Hara's Nitro Stout, Dick?
I did, yeah. Actually, historic moment, the can you gave me, I actually got my father to try it.
Yeah. What do you think?
His first craft beer. He said he thought it was smoky, but he could see how you could get used to it. But for his first, like all he drinks is Guinness, so that was a big thing for him to try that. I've been trying to get him to try stuff I've been having for years, but he's not. No, I like Guinness.
I think Dave and I were chatting about this in the week, and I think we've kind of almost become spoiled with the quality of beers which are out there, especially when you're getting those big juicy IPAs. But even stout level, when you get these chocolate stouts and the fudge and the whiskey and the bourbon, like when all of a sudden you come down to like just a regular like O'Hara's Nitro, like for me it's too bitter. It's almost like you've been spoiled with all the other good beers you can have. I mean, it's the same here.
It was tough up to a couple of weeks ago. Like Seth and Dave now found a couple of sites that actually successfully shipped to here despite Brexit and COVID and the whole lot. But for a couple of weeks,
I'm glad you continued there and said beer sites, because you were like, this was looking dodgy for a second.
But for a couple of weeks there, it was kind of hard to get a hold of new stuff. So like I'm stuck in California working from home at the moment, so that there's not a huge selection of craft stuff available here. A couple of Belgians, and you can get 8 Degrees, Rascals, White Hag, Kinniger.
There's nothing wrong with Rascals.
No. But I'm saying, outside of those, there's not a huge selection of stuff. That's all your Heinekens, Millers, Budweiser, all that kind of stuff.
But let's turn this back on to Carl. I mean, what is your favorite beer that you've produced?
Of our own?
Yeah.
What's your favorite child?
How many do you have?
I don't have any children at the moment, but it's that kind of question.
Is that pressure coming, by the way?
Pressure for tires, man. Of the core beers, Happy Days would be the kind of beer you go for after work, or else a jailbreak lager. But of the specials, I think I was kind of proud of the Big Smoke. I really liked the way that turned out. If I was to do it again, I'd probably make it a bit stronger. It came in about 6.5%. I think it needs to be up around 8 or something like that for barrel aged beer and keep that kind of smoky profile. But I agree with what you were saying there about the O'Hara's Stout. I think it's a very good beer. It's a great option to have another Nitro Stout in can to compete with the big lads. But like when you go back to that beer after drinking some of those pastry stouts or barrel aged whiskey stouts or whatever, there's a bitterness to it. But I think it's like that kind of roasty, malty flavor.
Yeah. That was actually a question I thought of just prior to this, and it was, when does it become a pastry stout as opposed to a dessert stout, as opposed to anything else, like pastry, dessert, breakfast? What's the difference? Like
I would say,
what?
Well, breakfast for us, what we did was lactose and oats. Lots of oats and lactose and coffee.
And that was the breakfast of champions.
That was breakfast of champions, yeah. And then I think if you're going up to, we haven't made a pastry stuff, but I have drank them. I think it's just copious amounts of kind of unfermentable sugars and maybe even some kind of caramel extracts and stuff like that. So they're super sweet, and they are dessert beers like.
Sorry for cutting across you. Where do you see the next big move? I think this year you could definitely say it was a pastry stout for me. Every brewery is hanging out pastry stouts. Last year I would say the New England IPA definitely was it New England IPA. And maybe the year before.
Last year, and I think New England's are still up there. People are always taking those out.
Yeah, and probably the previous year we'll say 2019. You could say it was the year of the sour. What's 2022 going to bring? You think?
I don't know.
Have you got your finger on the pulse, kind of watching what's happening around the world?
It's hard to say, because you produce a special, and they tend to they sell well or they don't sell well. And like you were saying earlier, will the Bruce and Betty become a recurring seasonal or whatever? It's hard to say. I think there's been a bit of resurgence in lagers. Funny enough, I think people have gone full circle. They've started off with their kind of crap Heinekens and whatever else. I've gone IPAs into rich, sweet, and really bitter imperial beers, and then they've once they've really trained their palates, they know what's really, really good beer. So they're coming back around and they can pick up a decent, either German lager or a locally produced lager, and go, right, this is really well made, really crisp and really clean. But what do I know? Do you know?
No, I think you're right, and I mean, like,
I think yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, I mean, although you probably do gravitate towards like an IPA or like if you just having one, you might go for a stout. Like if you have a really good lager or a pilsner on a summer day and that crisp, it's refreshing. There's definitely there's a need for it.
And I think it depends on the situation too. If you're like after a hard day's work and I'm literally thirsty, I'm going to grab a lager. But if I'm out, enjoying beers with other beer people, I'm going to be trying the bigger, more expensive beers, more hop-forward beers, stronger stouts, whatever. And then if you're at a wedding, what are you going to drink at a wedding? It's different. Actually, I was at a wedding over in Westport, and they had it was all the usual stuff on tap. But a Mess Canberry, Snaky Pints. I like it.
Thanks, Dick. Yeah, I'm out of Rascals beer. Decky gifted me this the other night.
Treating City did 4 beers there just for Paddy's Day.
Are they good?
I haven't tried them yet. I'm saving them for Paddy's.
For Paddy's, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a big Paddy's Day plan. So a couple of live YouTube concerts and of a Teeling's gift pack there with some Doc Brew beers in it. Those Treaty City beers. Of the green beers from White Hag.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that beer. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks.
Kindergarten right. Got it in the cupboard.
Say again, Sean.
I've got that. I think it's the Shamrock Ale or something.
It's like a mint milkshake, is there something?
Yeah, so I've got that in the cupboard. I think we'll save that for next week.
I loved it. I loved it personally.
Really, yeah.
I loved it.
It looks cool. I have to say, it looks pretty cool. Like,
you know what?
Yeah, I look forward to try it.
10 out of 10 for being different.
I mean, it's probably a good time just to touch on this as well. So next week we're going to do the Kennegar. I already mentioned the double, the rye barrel aged imperial stout that we can do, but they actually brought out another one, which was what is the one called, Dave? Is it a rye bucket or double shuttle bucket?
Shuttle bucket.
So
it's a souped up version of rust bucket, I reckon people are saying.
Yeah, it's a double rye PA, and if you look at the can, it's actually very understated for Paddy's Day, where you can actually see it's whoever the character is, but he's driving all the serpents, all the snakes off into the thing. And then obviously the other beer that we're doing is Scraggy Bay, which I think is their big absolute standard. You can find that in quite a few bars around. It's almost, that's what your house tap should almost be like.
That's their flagship, I guess. Yeah. If you're ever up in Donegal and if you go there on a holiday, a place called Rathmullen, and Rathmullen House, lovely, beautiful hotel, and upstairs like kind of fine dining restaurant. In the basement, then it's pizza and beer again, and it's all Kinnegar taps. And it's a brilliant place, beautiful setting, overlooking the harbour, and good beer, good pizza. I mean, it's a great place. I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to hear you say that, Carl, because there definitely seems to be like an awesome camaraderie between all the Irish breweries. There's no selfishness about it. It's all about how can we get our beer into everyone's homes.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about choice. It's about having more choice. Before we had very little choice.
Go ahead. What do you think about the whole Curious Society thing? Just trying to get like it's obvious they've got the Pilsner, and I think it's the Revolver where they're trying to get into that low cost market.
Who? Sorry, Mr. Who?
It's the Larkins guys and the Curious Society. So they've got a Pilsner. So they've got a Pilsner out. Yeah. I think it's like, and they've got another one called Revolver, which is I think it's a pale ale. Could be wrong.
Yeah. This is Larkins.
Larkins.
Yeah. Well, it's a side thing, and what they're aiming at. Yeah, exactly, and they're trying to aim at like that low cost market. So, I mean, I went up to Donegal, and the guy said to me, he was like, why are you drinking that beer when you can buy like a pack of tenants or whatever for a tenner? And I'm like, well, I don't really like the taste of that, and I like the taste of my beer. And the Curious Society, I think that's what they're doing. It's like 8 cans for like 10 or 12 euros. It's very, they're aiming cost effective. So
We've got what I was going to say there before you started jumping into Donegal again was we've got a bit of housekeeping to do, Sean. We forgot about our competitions. We have the we probably forgot to mention we're going to hit you up for a couple of cans and a bit of a T-shirt. We do it every week just to.
No problem. Done. As long as I get the questions right.
Yeah. You have a question, don't you? So it's a 6. We'll give him a couple of. Maybe we might give him a Bruce and a Betty and a couple of core range beers if they're nice, and maybe a T-shirt from Rascals or some bit of merchandise, whatever you have.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Do I ask the question or do you have it?
Yeah, work away. You have the question, don't you?
It's your question.
What was the first beer that Rascals produced?
Ooh.
That was in 2014.
I think we mentioned it at the start. I think
if you were listening earlier, they'd have the answer.
Yeah. See, if you just go back and everyone's going back on now and they're going.
It's on YouTube.
Google or they're going back. Rewinding.
We'll accept the first 10 answers and then we'll do a lucky draw.
Do a draw, fair enough.
It's a lucky dip. We have a curious and unusual way of picking the winner. The winner from last week, actually, or not last week, wasn't last week, it was 2 weeks ago, is Tom Andrews. He's the winner of the White Street prize. We'll get that to you somehow, whether we'll drop it down to you by post or you can pick it up in the beer house. We'll figure it out. All right, so Tom Andrews is the winner from the White Street prize. Cathal, as well, you might have watched a little bit of the previous episodes. We've left it kind of towards the end. You've missed your quick fire round. Do you want to accept the challenge to do a quick fire round, or?
Sure.
It's optional.
We're allowed to say no to this.
No.
Go on.
So you have 2 seconds and we're scoring it.
All right. Sean's got a stopwatch. All right. So you've got 2 seconds. It's a yes or no answer. It's a black or white answer.
2 seconds. Right.
All right.
So how many questions are we doing?
We've got 10 questions. 10 questions.
Right. At
the end, there's a bonus round. All right. I can tell you, there's a league. We're running the league table. At the moment, we've got Ronan Russell on 9. We've got Sean Cahalan, I'm going to pronounce his Cahalan, from White Street on 8. So you could hit the 10 out of 10 to hit top of the league if you get 10 out of 10. All right. So basically, the way you get points is by not pausing. You can't pause. You can't.
What's the topic or?
It's random.
Questions?
It's random questions.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
As ready as I can be, I suppose.
All right, Cathal. Cathal, here is your quick fire round. I'm going to just add myself to the screen there so people won't be wondering what's going on there. Now you're talking to yourself.
I'm just shouting yes or no into the screen.
Yeah. All right. Cork or Dublin?
Cork.
We're talking beer. IPA, West Coast or East Coast?
West Coast.
We're talking on that.
We're talking a beer. We're talking beer again. Guinness or Beamish?
Beamish.
Oh, good man.
We're talking whiskey, Irish or Scotch?
Scotch.
We're talking hops. We're talking hops. Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere?
Southern.
Oh, there we good, mate. Good, mate.
We're talking holidays. Sun or snow?
Snow.
We're talking music. Sinatra or Metallica?
Metallica, I guess.
All right. We're talking TV. TV.
Yeah.
The Simpsons or The Crown?
Simpsons.
All right. We're talking sport. Munster or Leinster?
Munster.
Good man. We're talking life. Half full or half empty? That's your 10th question.
Half full.
Good man. Now there's a bonus round. All right. You've got 9 out of 10. These are optional questions. They are a little bit X-rated. You have an option to double your points.
And they're X-rated questions.
Well, not X-rated. They're not polite questions. You can say yes.
Come on, we'll do them.
I feel guilty. I can't do them. No.
Don't check it out, Dave.
Do you want to ask him, Sean?
I don't know what questions you're talking about, Dave. I'm a young, sensitive, innocent mind. Dave's worried about the whole cancel culture and snowflake environment. So
I couldn't really see it, so
right.
leave it at that.
It's not snowing outside. All right, okay. 9 out of 10. Done.
Which one did I get wrong?
I'll show it to you.
you fell short in 2 questions, but it was just a hesitation.
All right, you want them, don't you? You want the optional questions. Question 11: ass or boobs?
Can you not have both?
All right. Okay. I'll give him a point for that.
You're selfish.
Why should we choose?
Question 12: Michael Jackson or Gary Glitter?
I'm not answering that question.
Michael Jackson's a beer writer. You dirty dog. Michael Jackson's a beer writer.
Musically, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I like his music. I like his music too. Yeah.
We were talking about the beer reviewer.
See, I'm all for a bit of humor and a bit of awkwardness and a bit of comedy. And you know what? Cancel culture, whatever you want to call it, snowflakes. You can't have the crack anymore, can you? You really can't.
Very careful.
You have to be very careful. Yeah.
There's a question here. Did you guys have a mirror ball keg?
Yes, it's still there. What happened, there's a story behind that. So we got our beer into a pub in Dublin, right? And they had been given 3 free kegs of Molson Canadian back whenever, right? And it did not sell. And got the beer in there, and he says, look, you can have that line, this beer isn't selling, as long as you just take those fucking kegs away, right? So it's like, grand, yeah, no water, take them away. And it's like, what am I going to do with these? Because he'd been on to them constantly to get their kegs collected, and they wouldn't collect them. So we took the spear out of it, put in a motor, and put glitter on the outside of the keg. And it was used at beer festivals, and it's now hanging up in the tap room.
Wow, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Don't tell Molson Coors, Kate and Gantus.
Oh,
I think
we're not talking about that.
We're probably after leveling up the amount of free advertising she's after getting, so I don't think we won't get in trouble. I've got one other question. I've got one other question, Carl, before we wrap up. We're nearly there. We're an hour and 50 minutes. These are our longest episode so far.
2 hours.
Only 2 hours. We've got a bit of live music as well coming up, lads. Before we finish, from Colin. Well, it's not live music, but it's pre-recorded music, because we had a bit of issues with broadband in Killarney. Just 2 quick questions before we finish up. You touched on herself, your partner Emma, meeting her in New Zealand, and you work day by day together. You know, I assume in the brewery. How does all that work out? You know, working with your partner. Do you have specific roles, or like how do you stop bringing work? How do you stop bringing work home? Do you have to have? What I'm trying to say is, do you have to have special nighttime when you go no Rascals talk?
Yeah, look, it's hard not to talk about it at home. I'd be brewer production manager, so I'm on the brewery floor, whereas Emma's, I suppose, the business side of things, looking after the finance and sales and the accounts and all that. So we're not working beside each other all the time, but of course we're working together. It is tricky because I suppose during this whole pandemic, Emma's been working from home a lot more than I would have been. So we've done a full day's work. Then I come home and I say, well, how was your day, blah, blah, and then she starts talking about this and that, and she's asking me the same thing. Mm-hmm. And you're tired, and I've gone through the whole day already, I don't have to repeat it all to you again. So we've just made a rule that when you come home, put the phone away or switch it off. Yeah. And try not. There will always be a little bit of talk about work, even on a Sunday, Yeah. But we try not to. There's no.
You're never off in the craft industry. You're not.
Yeah. Say again.
You're never off completely in the craft industry.
Yeah. Like if you're running your own business and you're working for yourself, it's always in the back of your mind, And the trick is to just make yourself take time off and make yourself get away from it. Yeah. I would say. And
does she love beer as well? Does she?
Oh, big time. Yeah. Oh, like she helps with the recipes and everything. Yeah, totally. Yeah, she's got a great palate. Absolutely.
Awesome. But yeah, I mean, just Dave was touching on that, but I think a lot of couples have been pushed to the strain of the relationship during COVID, especially if you're both working from home and you're not interacting with anyone else.
Yeah.
You're on top of each other for 24 hours a day.
Yeah, we've been very lucky because I'm physically going into the brewery, so I couldn't. Yeah, working from home, it must be tough for people. I couldn't do it.
Who's the boss at the end of the day, Kyle? Who do you think? Yourself or
who do you think, David?
Yeah. She wears the pants, so okay. Enough said.
Same in your life. Who's the boss, David?
Yeah, Susanna. Good answer. I like to think of the charge.
It's a team.
Yeah, it's a team effort. Anyway,
Well, lads, it's been great chatting tonight.
it's great.
Seriously,
I think we're nearly done, lads. Dickie,
Cool.
thanks for coming on as well, man. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Any-
Cheers.
Yeah,
The Festival Hall Beer Badger.
Yeah. Sean, do you want to introduce? Well, I suppose touch on the next episode before we wrap up.
Yeah, so we already mentioned it, guys, but so next week we're coming at you on Friday with Kindergarten Brewing. It's going to be a proper St. Paddy's evening. That's what we're going to do. We're going to celebrate it then. First up is going to be Scraggy Bay. It's going to be followed by the Shuttle Bucket, which is their double rye IPA. And then, as I mentioned, you can only get this at the beer house. So I've already picked mine up, and I had a pint last night and a takeaway cup, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It really is a good beer.
Barrel aged.
I'm going to try that next.
Whiskey rye stout, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, barrel aged
whiskey rye stout. Yeah.
Do you know what barrels it comes from?
I have two downstairs. I'm going to try that next.
I think it's whiskey.
Irish whiskey. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't.
It was either whiskey. Yeah, it's whiskey or bourbon.
Tune in this time next week.
Yeah, exactly, Carl.
Tune in.
But yeah, so guys, you can order that either online at the beer house website, or you can come through and pick it up. If you give us advance notice, David can make sure that the growlers are shipped out through to you. But yeah, just obviously allow for postage time.
Free delivery within 10K.
You'll unfortunately have David arriving at your door with that delivery, but yeah. Maybe we can get Kate back on.
All right. Jesus Christ. Carl, do you want to say thanks to everyone, Carl, for listening? And
yeah, for sure. Nice to make touch with the True Capital again, And yeah, hopefully we'll be down there actually in person and have pints with people again soon. That's what I'm most looking forward to.
Look, we touched base.
And do that ale trail you speak of. You
know what? The first one back, the first time we can do an ale trail, we do a Rascals one in some shape.
A Rascals tap tape.
I don't know. There's plenty of nice beer down there from other people as well, so I'll be down there drinking other people's beer.
All right, fantastic. Lads,
all right, lads.
Appreciate it. Sláinte. It's been epic.
Thank you very much, Colin. Appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you, Dickie. Thank you, Kate.
See you, Dickie.
Good
night, guys. Stay safe.
Good night, Dickie. Good night, Carl. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
So just myself and Sean left. Sean has signed out and told us what's happening next week. We're going to try a bit of pre-recorded music from Conal Mo. This is, I think, the third week we've promised music, so this should work. Let's fingers crossed, and every other orifice and every other body part in the. Okay, Sean will give me the thumbs up if this is working. This is a working. I mean, it's been worth waiting for.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good. Okay. Let's see, have you got a screen?
Coming at you live from Kerry.
Have you got a screen?
Yeah, make it full screen.
All right, we got an screen. Okay, this is Conal Mo. Anybody doesn't know Conal Mo? Conal used to work for the Beers, and Conal is his missus girlfriend, and this is them pre-recorded from Killarney. Okay, so we're going to press play on that and let them do the talking and play the music.
That's on, Dave. Yeah, Dave, we've got no sound.
Yeah, unmute. Yeah. Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, Dave, I can hear you now, but there was no sound there coming from the video.
No sound at all.
No. It started
Okay.
at first, but then something happened.
All right.
You need to do that little tick the box thing.
Okay, 1 second. We'll get it up and running. Okay, just give us a second.
This is OutSystems, the most complete full-stack application development platform for professional developers.
If you want to just chat to people there for a second, and I'll get this running. Maybe tell them how wonderful you are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is what I've always wanted, to allow people to actually listen to my opinion. But I don't want to chase them all away. Carl Hill was there, but he's actually just disappeared. So, yeah, I mean, lads, listen, what we're trying to do going forward, the interaction would be great. If you do want to be on the show, give us a shout out, give us a text. Just regarding ordering, as Dave said, free delivery within 10 kilometers from the beer house, but we can post it out anywhere in the country. So if you do want to take part, that'll be grand, especially for next week. The rye stout is really, really good. I'm really looking forward to cracking it open. It's definitely not going to last a week, so I'm going to have to get a refill when they're open. Dave, did you say what days are you open next week? Doesn't have the ability to multitask, but I think he might be open just before Paddy's Day, so lads can check that out.
Okay, this should be good. Take two.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Mute yourself there, Sean, yeah?
Yeah.
wide open and cover up my ears and never let me hear a sound. I would love to forget that you offended me, how you have defended me when everybody talked me down. I would love to change my friends to enemies, change my friends to enemies, show you how it's all my fault. I wanna love.
All right, lads, it looks like Dave's had some technical difficulties in there, but thank you very much for joining us. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Looking forward to the rugby. Let's hope that England lose, and let's hope that the rugby on Saturday is going to be a great performance. Wait, Dave's back, so let's just see what's going on there. Dave, I was just saying, thank you for everyone for joining in, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. England to lose, and let's hope it's a good rugby performance on Sunday.
Fantastic. We'll try one more song. I'm not too sure. I think the last one froze, but look, we'll try this one. I think there's some interaction between YouTube and StreamYard that just doesn't like each other. It just probably can't handle the streaming or whatever. But look, we'll try. They've got another song. If anyone's watching still, and we'll try. This is
We'll play it out with this song.
If it doesn't work, look. Good night, everyone, and thanks for watching. And we'll see you next week for Kinnegar. Rick from Kinnegar, and I think Mark from Grand Cruise are going to pop on as well. So we'll have a four-piece band tomorrow next weekend. A St. Patrick's weekend special. Make sure your glasses are wet and your beers are green. Sláinte, boys.
Stay crafty.
Sláinte, girls. Stay crafty. We'll try this one, lads. If it doesn't work, we'll have to work on something else. All right. Can you see a screenshot? Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Play it up.
I think I might have forgot to hit the audio thing though. 1 second. Shit. Okay, let me do it again. I'll go back here. Just remove. Okay, I'll do it one more time. There's an audio thing you gotta hit. Okay, stop share. Okay, bear with me, folks. As I did say at the start of this whole this thing, we are amateurs, not professionals. Mm-hmm. And there's always the odd train wreck along the way as well. So we got there. We get there eventually. So look, if this works, I mean, talented musicians, and it'll be nice to put you to sleep. Okay, full screen, and we go. Doesn't seem to like StreamYard for some reason. No. Anyway, lads, yeah, that doesn't seem to like StreamYard for some reason. We'll give it 2 seconds to see if it loads up, but I'll give it one last try and see if it's going to work. I'm not giving up easily.
Very. Evan, I can't repeat that because David will get upset with me. David McHugh, I'm not going to sing a song, but before the year ends, I'll give you guys one. Okay. You don't want to hear me sing. I don't even have a voice that a mother could love. We like the intrepid conversation or look on David's face while he stares into that screen.
All right, good night, guys.
There we go, David.
I want love to pull me over slowly, stick a knife inside me, get twisted all around. I want love to grab my fingers gently and slam them in the doorway and put my face into the ground. I want love to murder my mother. Take her off to somewhere like hero of a girl. I want love to change my friends to enemies, change my friends to enemies, and show me how it's all my fault. I want that love disrupt the rough, don't interrupt me. I want that love disrupt the rough, don't interrupt me. I want that love disrupt the rough, don't interrupt me anymore. I want love to walk right up and fight me, grab a hold of me and fight me and leave me dying on the ground. I want love to split my mouth wide open and cover up my ears and never let me hear a sound. I want love to forget that you offended me, how you have defended me, when everybody talked me down. I want love to change my friends to enemies, change my friends to enemies, show you how it's all my fault. I want that love disrupt the rough, don't interrupt me. I want that love disrupt the rough, don't interrupt me. I want that love disrupt the rough, don't interrupt me anymore. my own and try to fix up. Start a brand new day. Woman I'm thinking of loves me all, but I'm so down today. She's so fine, she's in my mind. I hear her calling. See the lonely boy out on the weekend, trying to make it pay. Can't relate to joy, he tries to speak and can't begin to say. She's got pictures on the wall, they make me look up from the big brass bed. Now I'm running down the road, I'm trying to keep up somewhere in her head. Woman I'm thinking of loves me all, I'm so down today. She's so fine, she's in my mind. I hear her calling. See the lonely boy